Imagine the total silence in a high-floor Hollywood boardroom when a comedian's voice becomes more authentic than the movie star himself. Godfrey sat in a dimly lit studio, tightened his jaw until his tendons popped, and let out a rasp so gravelly it sounded like a truck driving over broken glass. He wasn't just joking. He was becoming Jason Statham. The PR handlers watching the clip felt their blood run cold. They saw their $100 million action hero being dismantled by a man with a microphone and a perfect ear for British grit. This was a catastrophic brand failure in the making. The industry thrives on the illusion that these stars are unique, untouchable biological units. But Godfrey proved that Statham's entire persona could be downloaded and replayed by a guy from Chicago. The truth is, the handlers wanted to bury the footage before it hit the mainstream. They feared the tough guy image was leaking value. This channel isn't for everyone, and if you're easily offended by the raw reality of how the industry works, do not subscribe. The agents didn't see humor. They saw a breach in the fortress. They watched Godfrey's lips curl into that specific Statham sneer, realizing that if a comedian could do the job this well, the star power tax was a lie. The algorithm hates this kind of truth because it breaks the polished celebrity cycle. So subscribe to bypass the system and see the gears grinding behind the scenes.
Do this in order for y'all to get this for real, bro. We're gonna go all the way back.
Replica. It was a PR disaster of the highest order. The agents tried to issue unofficial warnings, hoping to keep the Statham brand from becoming a parody. They failed miserably. Look at the physical evidence. You can see the sweat on the publicists' faces in every old interview where the impression is mentioned. They try to pivot, to laugh it off, but the eyes tell a different story of panic. Follow the money. Every time Godfrey nails that voice, he's technically stealing a piece of Statham's market share. But then the glitch happened. The high-value target himself, Jason Statham, didn't follow the PR script. He didn't sue. He didn't hide. He stepped into the frame and acknowledged the mimicry, shattering the handler's defensive protocols and turning a potential career-ending mockery into a viral explosion that no agent could control. The biological reaction was unanimous, pure, unadulterated shock. Watch the way Godfrey's eyes light up when he recounts the confrontation. It wasn't a fight. It was a surrender. The man who sells the image finally met the man who owns the voice. This is the reality of the Hollywood machine when the mask slips and the replica becomes the reality. Observe the human subjects in their natural habitat, the bright, sterile environment of a late-night talk show set. To an outside observer, this looks like a casual conversation, but for the biological entities involved, it is a high-stakes ritual of dominance and brand protection. You see the guy sitting on the sofa, clutching a mug he isn't actually drinking from. That's the mimic. He has spent thousands of hours analyzing the tonal frequency of a high-value alpha male. Now look at the monitors in the control room. The producers are vibrating with a specific type of anxiety. They aren't worried about the joke. They are worried about the illusion breaking. When Godfrey opens his mouth and that gravelly East London rasp comes out, he isn't just doing a bit. He is hacking the software of celebrity. You there sitting behind your glowing screen, you think this is just entertainment. It isn't. It's a hostile takeover of a multi-million-dollar identity. Look closely at the footage of the first time they met. The room is filled with the scent of expensive hair product and the hum of industrial air conditioning. Jason Statham walks into the frame. His shoulders are squared. His jaw is locked. In the world of high-value human assets, body language is the primary currency. The handlers are standing in the shadows, their thumbs hovering over their phones, ready to call the legal teams if things turn ugly. They expected a clash. They expected the star to demand the mimic be removed from the premises to protect the sanctity of the brand. But something shifted in the atmosphere. Instead of a cease and desist letter, there was a physical contact, a handshake that lasted 3 seconds too long. That's the moment the power dynamic.
No good goddamn well.
Kim, real quick. Let me go see little Kim.
Mine.
Yeah, he went, he went.
Spikes. The agents realized they couldn't kill the parody, so they had to colonize it. They stopped trying to bury the footage and started feeding it to the algorithms. But don't let the smiles on camera fool.
I see you Friday. I see you Friday.
Yeah, a party ain't a party.
Lasers and avoid eye contact with the cameras. They hate that they lost control of the narrative. These humans are obsessed with authenticity, yet they spend their entire lives manufacturing images. Godfrey's voice is a glitch in that manufacturing process. It's a carbon copy that for a split second feels more real than the original. Look at the sweat on the bridge of the host's nose. He knows he's standing on a landmine. If Statham gets offended, the show loses a guest for life. If Godfrey flops, the segment is dead air. But when the two voices combined, it created a feedback loop that the human brain is hardwired to find irresistible. They call it viral, but from an objective perspective, it's a mass contagion of redirected attention. The agents tried to frame it as a bromance, a pathetic attempt to use a human emotional label for a cold business calculation. The truth is much more mechanical. It was a tactical surrender. Statham realized that if he fought the impression, he looked weak. If he joined it, he owned it. Watch the way he mimics his own mimic. It's a hall of mirrors designed to keep your eyes glued to the screen. You're being sold a moment of raw connection that was actually vetted by 3 layers of management before the record button was even pressed. This channel gives you the thermal vision to see those layers. Subscribe now if you want to see through the digital fog that the industry uses to keep you compliant. The reality is a sequence of calculated risks and physical reactions. The way Godfrey's pupils dilate when he realizes he's not going to be sued. The way the studio audience leans forward in their plastic seats, their heart rates synchronizing. It's a biological symphony conducted by public relations experts. But even the best conductors can't stop the truth from leaking out. The truth is that the Statham you see on screen is a product, and Godfrey just proved that the product can be manufactured by anyone with enough talent and a microphone. This realization terrified the people who signed the checks. They saw the star power tax evaporating in real time. If the voice can be replicated, if the swagger can be downloaded, then the millions of dollars spent on exclusivity are wasted. They had to pivot fast. They turned the threat into an endorsement. But look at the eyes of the agents in the background of that famous selfie. They aren't smiling. They are calculating the loss of leverage. This is the brutal reality of the fame machine. It's not about art. It's not about humor. It's about the defense of a perceived value that doesn't actually exist. You're watching a ghost fight its own reflection, and the only reason you can't look away is because your brain is programmed to seek out the real in a world of fakes. But in Hollywood, the real is just the highest quality fake available. That's the secret they don't want you to download. They want you to believe in the magic of the icon. They don't want you to see the gears grinding, the sweat dripping, and the absolute panic that ensues when a comedian from Chicago breaks the code. This is how the system actually functions. It's a series of collisions between egos and bank accounts, filmed in high definition for your consumption. Don't believe the PR spin about mutual respect. Believe the physical evidence. Believe the way the room goes silent when the mimicry is too perfect. That silence is the sound of a brand losing its grip. Every time you hit play on that video, you're participating in the dismantling of a multi-million-dollar facade. The agents hate that you're watching this. They hate that you can see the strings. And that's exactly why you need to keep your eyes open. This isn't just a story about a funny voice. It's a manual on how to spot the cracks in the fortress. The next time you see a celebrity laughing along with a parody, look at their hands, look at their eyes. You'll see the same thing the cameras caught that day, the cold, hard realization that the mask is off and the replica is already taking over the room. The system is designed to keep you in a state of constant worship, but once you see the mechanics, the gods start to look like very nervous men in very expensive suits. Stay tuned, because the deeper we go, the more the polished surface begins to shatter. The industry wants you to see a handshake. We want you to see the contract hidden behind the back. That's the only way to survive the simulation of celebrity culture. Watch the footage again, not with your heart, but with your eyes. See the tension, see the power play, see the reality of the machine. Look at the monitors in the PR war room. The screens are flashing red with negative sentiment scores, while the handlers pace back and forth, their expensive leather shoes clicking on the marble floor. They are screaming into encrypted phones because they didn't just see a funny video. They saw a breach in the hull of a billion-dollar
I think
ship.
that AC/DC way better
This
than
is
you.
what a total system failure looks like.
In this video, I'm going to be showing you different things to do around the city.
Loser. So this is going to be a great podcast, in fact.
Transporter crank, the expendables, and more high-octane...
But the data shows a different story. The public didn't buy the "we're all friends here" narrative because the physical evidence of that initial icy reaction was burned into the internet's collective memory. You can't delete a facial twitch once it's gone viral. Give me your subscription, and I'll give you the exact mechanism of your own manipulation, showing you how these teams try to steer your brain away from what your eyes clearly saw. The handlers thought they could bury the footage, but instead, they just made the fallout go nuclear. They tried a distraction technique by leaking a fake dating rumor the very next day, hoping the shiny new object would make you forget the sound of that awkward silence. It didn't work. The stock of the icon is trading at an all-time low in the court of public opinion because the facade cracked and the raw ego underneath was too ugly to ignore. I don't waste your time. You don't waste mine. Subscribe if you value substance and want to see the blueprints of how these narratives are built and broken. The craziest part of this entire human experiment is how the machine recycled the disaster. Within a month, the very agency that tried to sue the comedian was pitching a roast special to capitalize on the tension. They didn't fix the problem. They just found a way to put a price tag on the wreckage. By the time the next awards season rolled around, the celebrity was back on stage, reading a teleprompter and pretending the mask never slipped. The audience clapped, the cameras flashed, and the bank accounts filled up. The system didn't learn a lesson. It just learned a new way to sell you the lie. Everyone involved made millions off the disaster, and the only people who lost were the ones who actually believed the PR was real. It's not a tragedy. It's just the cost of doing business in a room full of mirrors where even the mistakes are for sale. Observe the final stage of this calculated cycle. The subjects in the high-rise boardrooms didn't feel shame when the footage leaked. They only felt the vibration of their phones as the stock price dipped. They gathered in a glass office on Sunset Boulevard to scrub the internet of every frame, but the digital fingerprints were already permanent. They tried to buy back the silence with NDAs and luxury gift bags, but the public had already tasted the blood of a genuine moment. Next came the humanizing interview. The subject sat on a beige sofa, dressed in a muted sweater that cost more than a year of your rent, and performed a rehearsed monologue about personal growth and learning moments. It was a masterpiece of fiction, edited by a committee of six-figure consultants to make a millionaire look like a victim of their own success. Most people will just scroll past this and keep buying the tickets, but you're different. You're part of a small elite circle that actually sees the strings being pulled behind the curtain. Subscribe now to join the few who understand exactly how the game is played. The reality is, that the apology was just another product launch. While the cameras caught a single lonely tear rolling down a perfectly contoured cheek, the legal team was busy filing trademarks for the very catchphrases that came out of the scandal. They didn't want forgiveness. They wanted a rebrand. If seeing how easily these teams manufacture a fake truth felt like a brutal slap in the face, you needed it. Subscribe for the next one, so you're never the one left wondering what actually happened. The craziest part of the whole performance is that it worked. By the time the next quarter rolled around, the scandal wasn't a liability anymore. It was a case study in resilience. The subject didn't lose their career. They just traded their halo for a much more profitable set of horns. The sponsors returned, the red carpets were rolled back out, and the bank accounts hit new record highs. It's the ultimate